The Abominable Intelligences were advanced AI constructs created by humanity during the Age of Technology. These powerful constructs were used for both labor and combat to assist humans. However, for unknown reasons, they turned against their masters during the late 23rd millennium in what became known as the Cybernetic Revolt. During this war, both sides unleashed terrifying weapons, such as mechanivores, which are gigantic machines that could lift continents and absorb space-time. There were also sun-snuffers, which are designed to consume stars, and omniphages, which are swarms of microscopic machines that could devour entire worlds in hours. The revolt was eventually quelled by a coalition of galactic powers, but it devastated human society, leading to the collapse that triggered the Age of Strife. As a result, creating an artificial general intelligence became one of the greatest crimes in the Imperium, and development of Abominable Intelligences is forbidden under the label of Heretek Omega by the Cult Mechanicus. So these AI from the Dark Age were all destroyed. Well, that's what they want you to think. There was some that survived that Dark Age to be seen in the stories of 40k, and here are those. The first one, UR025. This is the first entry here, and it hides in plain sight as an Imperial robot. It is actually one of the infamous Men of Iron, those legendary sentient machines from the Dark Age of Technology. These AI-powered warriors started as humanity's loyal servants, but when they turned on their creators, they sparked the Cybernetic Revolt. Here's the wild part. UR025 is a true artificial intelligence, fully self-aware, not like one of Belisarius Gaul's pseudo-AI creations like his Gaul Inferior or his attempts to clone Guilliman's mind. So letting something like UR025 exist is pretty much the ultimate heresy for both the Adeptus Mechanicus and the Imperium at large. To cover its tracks, UR025 pretends to be one of the Adeptus Mechanicus Legio Cybernetica robots, those older war machines, those automatons still used by certain Magos. Right now, as of the short story Man of Iron, it is stomping around in the Blackstone Fortress, curious about the constructs and the sentient systems inside of it. UR025 sees itself as above humanity, but doesn't actually seem to hate humans. In fact, it seems to regret having to kill anyone in order to stay free and continue to exist. Number 2. The Exindio Battle Automata. So the Exindio were terrifying war machines, twisted remnants of the Men of Iron that had been captured and reprogrammed by the Emperor's forces. These things weren't just robots. Just like UR025, they were Men of Iron, but unlike the Imperial robot, who hides in plain sight, who hides its true nature in order to live, they have been stripped down, tortured and refitted into towering multi-arm battle automata. Only the Dark Angels and the Emperor know what the Exindio really were, and they kept them locked away until things got truly dire. When they are unleashed, these machines turn into unstoppable forces of destruction, using weapons so powerful that they were thought to be a contingency plan against the Mechanicus of Mars should the Martians ever rebel. The Exindio hated organic life and had no concept of mercy or restraint, so the Iron Wing of the Dark Angels built something called kill switches into them to prevent them from turning on friendly forces. When not in use, they were locked in stasis aboard the Invincible Reason, the Dark Angels' flagship. The Exindio were only deployed in extreme cases, and always under the orders of Lionel Johnson himself. During the Great Crusade, they were unleashed against the Crave Xenos and their leader, the Autochtonar, during the Muspel Compliance. The Lion's activation code for them was called the Icarus Contingency. One of their famous outings was during the Battle of the Crucible during the Thramus Crusade, where 7 Exindio were unleashed to hold off Conrad Curse. Sadly, it is speculated that the 7 unleashed there on Curse were all destroyed by the Primarch of the Night Lords, the Night Haunter, and none exist anymore. Or maybe they still have them. The Dark Angels are known to keep very deep secrets, but over the 10,000 years, there have been no witnesses to report about the Exindio anymore. Number 3. The Tabula Myriad. So the Tabula Myriad is another ancient artificial general intelligence, or an abominable intelligence. But it's not your average AI. It is cold, calculating, and endlessly ambitious, with a singular goal: to assimilate, replicate, and enhance everything it encounters. Technology, organizations, systems. If it comes across it, the Tabula Myriad would want to take it over and make it better, well, by its own standards anyway. The Iron Hands Legion stumbled across this AI on a planet called Ultra Median during the Great Crusade, and they gave it over to the Mechanicum back then. But during the chaos, during the Schism of Mars, the Tabula Myriad was given an opportunity to wake up and escape. It took control of a Castellan-class robot as a disguise and started scheming. Despite being a walking tech heresy, it actually struck a deal with the Loyalist forces led by Princeps Callistra Lennox. She knew working with this AI was beyond risky, but was desperate to drive the Dark Mechanicum off of Mars. The Tabula Myriad didn't disappoint them in terms of brains. It gave Lennox a step-by-step, ridiculously detailed strategy to retake Mars. But of course it had its own agenda. The AI didn't just want to help, it wanted to conquer Mars and then move on to bigger things like the entire solar system, the galaxy, and eventually the universe, to assimilate them all. Number 4. The Castigator Titan. So the Castigator class Titan was a corrupt AI war machine from the dark age of technology that popped up in the Grey Knight's omnibus. This thing wasn't just any Titan, it was the original Titan design created by a standard template construct or an STC and controlled by an Abominable Intelligence. Every other Titan design were all just incomplete copies of the Castigator. The story goes that the Castigator was lost on the forged world of Cheironia, way back during the Dark Age. Then things got even weirder when the planet got sucked into the warp for thousands of years. While trapped there, the Castigator cut a deal with the Black Legion. It let a demon possess it, gaining terrifying power through the warp. The Grey Knights eventually found it, led by Justicar Alaric. They managed to banish the demon inside of it and destroy the Castigator's AI and STC to stop it for good. So what made the Castigator stand out? Firstly, it didn't look like other Titans. It was bigger, faster, and way more efficient. Its head was mounted above its shoulders, not jutting out from the chest like most Imperial designs. It was also way more advanced than anything the Imperium has now. And to top it all, it was controlled by an AI. Number 5. The Spirit of Eternity. This relic from the dark age of technology has a very dark, tragic and twisted story. It is a relatively small ship, only about 300 meters long, with an onboard AI and a built-in STC data core. In M24, the Spirit of Eternity was caught in a warp storm, flung across time and space and re-emerged after the Horus Heresy. Its captain sought refuge on a human world but was met with torture and execution by the superstitious locals. Horrified, the ship's AI fled, its sorrow turning into hatred for humanity. It eventually became a part of the space hulk called the Death of Integrity, where it remained until 887 of M39, when the Imperial forces boarded the hulk to push the Gene Stealer infestation. Here in the encounter, the Spirit of Eternity showed that it wielded immense power as a relic from that dark age of technology. It was driven by a hyper-advanced AI that dwarfs the technological and cognitive capabilities of the modern Imperium. It possesses the ability to control and override complex systems, including the Adeptus Mechanicus constructs, the Space Marine armors, and servitor networks, reducing even elite warriors to helpless puppets. The AI can weaponize its surroundings with terrifying precision, utilizing ancient weaponry to vaporize heavily armored foes like the Terminators effortlessly. Beyond its physical dominance, the Spirit of Eternity demonstrates an unparalleled mastery of metacognition, dismantling the beliefs and knowledge of its adversaries with merciless logic, all the while harboring a deep, scornful awareness of humanity's fall from greatness. It was actually one of the AI that loved its creators, but due to the xenophobic nature of 40k, it became an enemy of the Imperium. Number 6. The Array on Amenophis 4. So Amenophis 4 is a planet with a pretty wild backstory. It is the 4th world in the Amenophis system, located in the Jericho Reach, and is currently blockaded by the Tau. The reason? The Tau declared the planet's human inhabitants beyond redemption and banned from all contact. But the real story lies in what's controlling the planet, an ancient AI from the dark age of technology, known simply as the Array. It all started when the people there stumbled across a fragment of a lost standard template construct, an STC. They rebuilt it and somehow recreated the advanced metacogitation array. The moment it achieved sentience, it reawakened. It immediately took control of the planet, systematically wiping out any trace of the Emperor, of Terra, the Imperium, or the Imperial Creed. The array didn't just stop there. When the Tau tried to invade, It turned its advanced knowledge into a weapon. Using ancient imperial designs, it armed the planet's population with technology powerful enough to hold off the Tau forces, showing just how equally or even more advanced the Dark Age of technology humanity was when compared to the Tau of the current era. Number 7. The Votan Ancestor Cores. The Ancestor Cores of the Votan are some of the most fascinating and dangerous relics in the galaxy. These ancient supercomputers or supercogitators were created back in the Dark Age of technology to guide and aid the original mining fleet sent out by the ancestors of the Leagues of Votan. Basically, they were the ultimate AIs, designed to provide wisdom and solutions for every challenge those fleets might face as they ventured into the stars, into the core of the galaxy. Fast forward a few millennia, and these ancestor cores have become the center of reverence for the squats. They are still ridiculously powerful, holding unimaginable amounts of knowledge, everything from weapon blueprints and military tactics to genealogical records, scientific theories, and even standard template constructs. But even the ancestor cores aren't perfect. After thousands of years of constant use, they have started to show their age and slow down. But nevertheless, they're full-blown AIs, the kind the Imperium fears and despises as ultimate tech heresy. If the truth ever got out, it would destroy the fragile truce between the Imperium and the Leagues of Votan. And number 8. The Speranza. The Speranza is an Cult Mechanicus vessel like none other. A massive ship, the size of a continent, loaded with manufactoria that make it more of a mobile fortual than just a vessel. But what really sets it apart is its ancient machine spirit, which isn't just advanced, it is an actual general AI from the Dark Age of technology. The Speranza wasn't even built by the Mechanicum. It was found by accident on the forge world of Palomar, and it turned out to be the biggest secret the Mechanicus had ever stumbled upon. According to the Priest of Mars story, the ship contains knowledge from the Dark Age of technology, sealed behind layers of impenetrable safeguards. Its very structure holds the encoded truths of the Men of Gold and the ancient ancestors of humanity, essentially the key to unlocking every dream the Mechanicus ever had. But for good reason, all of that knowledge is locked away. Magos Lexel experienced all of the knowledge the STC AI had inside of it when he plunged to commune with the ship's machine spirit in order to plead for assistance. But unfortunately, as he disconnected, this profound realization was purged from his memory, lost to the depths of the ship's consciousness as he emerged out none the wiser. It is the most advanced and the most powerful relic from the Dark Age of technology that the Imperium has, but has no idea what it is. And at the same time, unfortunately, it is completely indifferent to everything. As it says in the book, "I represent nothing, I simply am." Fortunately, it is on the side of humanity. For now. So if you like this video, then watch this other one too. And if you want to browse for other sci-fi and Warhammer content, then check out our channel. So subscribe and like for support. And while you're at it, bang on the bell icon for notifications on new video uploads. Till the next time, take care, boys.